The other beds were covered with clothes, boots and sneakers lined each one beneath. The setup was like something a sorry battalion of lost soldiers may have endured, all discipline gone. Still, it was not quite the DOS house it might have been. We had our rules. Romeo gazed up toward the skylight and then to the back door, which was open, offering a frame to the wire fencing that enclosed the farm. A gentle breeze blew through the building, welcoming in the maw of humidity. "The John is through that door," I said, pointing. "Showers too. You can do your laundry come Sunday." "Laundry?" he said suspiciously. I shrugged. At this stage I didn't know what Romeo did or did not need to know. I had no idea how long he would even be here. Granted, you could say that about any of the workers who came and went. Mostly folk picked up whatever it was they needed to know throughout the working day by talking to one another. But what Romeo wanted to know and what he needed to know was not clear to me. Some of the workers had left before the hurricane had hit, but there had always been a steady flow of more of them to take their place. Blanchard had called me to the office and asked me to make room for the new guy. This meant vacating one of the beds in the barracks. Not a problem. But I never liked to let a good man go, even if Blanchard was having difficulty paying them all. So I released Xavi, a young Argentinian worker with a wife and child living elsewhere. He was doleful, but didn't dispute the dismissal. And as the days neared to Romeo's arrival, I'd sensed a certain curiosity in me grow, something I'd not anticipated. A change, an excitement even, strange though it felt. I tried to imagine what this new man made of the place. He looked like he'd seen and survived worse, and with the muted swagger about him. I sensed too that he'd also experienced something more magnificent, something more excessive, as if there was a touch of the gambler about him. Still, he hadn't seen the extent of the damage. "Show me around," he asked, eyeing his bag. "It'll be safe," I said, as if to reassure him. I could have told him how when there last was a dispute here, it had ended in blood, a pull of it not far from his bunk. I could have told him how the wronged party had cornered the man, and how Blanchard and I walked away while justice was meted out. The smell of bleach only served to remind us of the cost of committing a crime here, in the garden, as Blanchard called the nursery and grounds around us, as if it had some Edenic quality to it. Maybe it had, once upon a time. Blanchard had bought the land only 10 years previous, when it was nothing but wasteland. Slowly, he'd flattened the terrain, paved the road access, and introduced electricity and water. Now it amounted to 60 acres of outdoor and indoor growing. We were far enough from the highway, behind full tree coverage, and secured by perimeter fences for privacy. Surrounded by wooded acreage with no neighbours to speak of, there were 5 sawtooth grow houses, a glaze-roofed mist house, and a number of shade houses. The garden had been a haven for growing and selling orchids, that is, until the hurricane hit. We walked out into the dusk. Around us, the sounds of Spanish faded. About the perimeter of the grounds, I pointed out the various repairs which required attention. Swathes of fencing had been torn down. The fig and orange trees of the fruit orchard were bent or breaking. Large branches lay snapped on the ground, waiting to be removed. 2 banana trees were shredded. Shade cloth was in ribbons. The bamboo was stripped, pots smashed, and a trailer remained on its side. The violence of the hurricane was apparent everywhere you looked. "It's worse than I thought," Romeo said. The fields were mostly drained, but there was still a faint sucking sound with each step we took. "If you've come for hurricane repairs, you're late." I meant it as a joke, but Romeo didn't laugh. He kicked at the wheel of a backhoe. I showed him the boilers and the backup generator, crucial during hurricane season, and the heaters, fans, the temperature and irrigation controls. Then there was the metal building with the loading dock and, of course, the greenhouses. "There's a lot left to do," he said. He was right, and the enormity of the work remaining depressed me, together with the thought that another man was not going to make much difference, no matter what his expertise was, unless, of course, Blanchard's plan came off. "But that's not all I'm here to do, no?" I shook my head. I wasn't sure how much he thought I knew.